Presiden Direktur Tamrin 9 Complex, juga Global Market Director PT Bank UOB Indonesia. Menuju bangunan interkoneksi ditandai dengan penekanan tombol pada layar LI oleh Gubernur di Jakarta. Tombol yang dibalikan. Nah, itu dia. Tepuk tangan yang meriah. Kita sama mundur. 3, 2, 1. Ini dia. Di atas panggung sesaat, karena Bapak Ibu sekalian, hadirin yang kami hormati, kita akan langsung mendengarkan kata sambutan yang sudah kita tunggu-tunggu dari tadi. Ini adalah kata sambutan resmi dari Gubernur DKI Jakarta, Bapak Anies Rashid Baswedan, PhD. Silakan Bapak, waktu dan tempat kami persilakan.
Yang saya hormati, Yang Mulia Bapak Tamura Masami, Deputy Chief of Mission dari Kedutaan Besar Jepang. Yang saya hormati Bapak Lee Johnson, Counselor dari Kedutaan Besar Korea untuk Republik Indonesia. Bapak Oliver Richards, Country Director, UK Department of International Trade. Yang saya hormati Komisaris Utama PT MRT Jakarta, Bapak Saogi, Pak Dirut, yang saya hormati Pak William Sabandar, kemudian Komisaris Tamrin 9 Complex, Bapak Indrajati Sidi, Profesor Doktor, juga yang saya hormati Direktur Tamrin 9, Bapak Alvin Ghazali, beserta seluruh jajaran, juga yang saya hormati para mitra yang barusan menandatangani kerjasama, Bapak Siroki, Bapak Rino, dan juga Bapak Yasuniro Kasegawa, dan Bapak Dirjen Tata Ruang Kementerian Agraria, juga yang saya hormati pimpinan dari berbagai institusi swasta yang ikut hadir dalam pertemuan peresmian sore hari ini. Juga yang saya hormati para peserta TOD Forum 2022. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk semuanya. Bapak Ibu sekalian saya hormati, forum ini satu podium tapi dua audiens. Satu audiensnya di sini, satu lagi audiensnya di TOD Forum, disiarkan harusnya langsung di sini. Karena itu izinkan saya meneruskan sebagai bagian dari pembukaan TOD Forum, ya sambutan di sini, ya sekaligus sambutan di sana. Jadi saya ingin teruskan untuk bisa nyambung ke dua-duanya. Karena kita nggak kelihatan live-nya di sini nih, pada dua tempat ini. Satu opening TOD Forum dan satu adalah groundbreaking. Allow me to continue this in English. It is indeed a happy day for Jakarta. We are embarking on a journey to become a global city. And being a global is that the populations of its city using public transport. And therefore, it is in the responsibility of the government city to create a network of public transport that enable the populations to convert from private vehicles into public transport. We cannot demand the public to shift their behavior from private mobility into public transport if we are not building the infrastructure. So it is indeed in the hand of us, the responsibility being in government, modern city, to build public transport. I think if you all are visiting cities across the globe, one of the key, whether you are coming to a global city or not, is just looking at the public transport. If the public transport is not developed, then it is not yet a global city. But if the public transport is well developed, it is a global city. And I'm happy to report to you today that Jakarta is already at the early stage of that development. So we're grateful for that. One of the signs that so far we have adopted a single keyword to solve complex public transport issue in Jakarta. What is that one simple word? It's called integration. We had public transport in the past. The challenge was it was not integrated. So you take one mode of transport, you're not able to transfer to another. And once you get an integrated system, then it will definitely allow one from anywhere to reach in the city in a predictable time frame and in a systematic way. And I think that's what the word has translate Jakarta in integrations. And we are seeing another sign of integration. In the past, we adopted how we integrate between mode of transportations. For example, the MRT stations, that's ASEAN station. ASEAN station is unique. We have south and northbound of MRT, and then you have an east-west bound of BRT. Okay, both were developed by us, government of Jakarta. Okay, but they were being developed individually, separately, unintegrated. So when you are taking BRT on the east-west bound and then stop near ASEAN stations, there is no easy way to transfer to MRT for the north-south bound. So we solved that. With the MRT, with the Transjakarta, that intersection is now an integrated intersection. It is a live intersection, and thousands of passengers were transferring in that intersection. That is integrating between mode of transport. The second integration is what we are witnessing today. The second integration is about how a station is integrated to the facility in the surrounding area. Actually, this issue, I had discussed it long before I was serving as governor of Jakarta. And the other side of the conversation, I work as minister by the previous office of Indra II, Ministry of Education. It was across from the Senayan stations. So the MRT team come to my office at that time, I was Minister of Education, and asking me, Pak Menteri, can we build a tunnel from the MRT stations to the Ministry of Education? And definitely I said, of course, that's a sign of modernity and we would like to have that integrated. The issue is we have to pay the cost, and there is no way Ministry of Education is able to pay the cost, right? But today we are witnessing the other way around. It's a private entity, the UOB, is willing to invest on create an tunnel from its facility to the station Duku Atas. And with that, we mark the second type of integration that our city is embarking today. Integrating between mode of transportation, we did it, and it has impacted a lot. And then now what we are witnessing is the, ladies and gentlemen, being the first, there is no second to it. You cannot be the first for the second time. the first is only once. So being the first in Jakarta, being the first in the country will always be remembered as the first place. And we are exactly right where the tunnel will be constructed, and it will mark a new beginning for our city. And I'm happy to report to you that with approach, I do hope more buildings surrounding stations of MRT, stations or commuter lines or LRT is produced to have that integrations. Because now, I mentioned earlier when I was at the lobby, we are seeing rooms for rent across the building. So I mentioned the future, room for rent that is not across the UOB building, but across the station, surrounding Cipete, Lebak Bulus, surrounding Block M, and it will enable so many to live from perspective of distance. It looks far away, but from time perspective, it is very efficient way to reach the office. And I think that's the future of Jakarta. So we're very happy. Let's give a big applause to everyone for this project. Now, the second of it, we are also seeing shift in how sport here in Jakarta, and also the development paradigm in our city. Let me show you and I hope our friends who are watching on the other side is able to see the slide too. Is it on? Look, this is a very interesting challenge. Sudah muncul di sini. Apparently there is a technical issue. Let me check. All right, there we go. Look, the population is 11 million, but the registered motorcycles is 16 million. That is challenging in the city of Jakarta. And we have 3.5 million cars. If we are not converting, it is an issue. So how do we do it? I'm not going to go all this detail, but this is the strategy. All right, it takes a little bit of time. It is not as integrated as the MRT. It's not yet seamless, so, there we go. All right. The strategy is to shift our paradigm. The city has to shift its paradigm from car-oriented development into transit-oriented development. And it has to start from us in government. If we are in government not shifting our paradigm, the change will never take place. As simple as that. It just never take place. Look, what is car-oriented development? It is corridor-based. You see in the far top left, corridor-based, it means that we regulate our zoning based on the size of the corridor. If you are having a building in a big area, a big street like Jalan Jenderal Sudirman, you will be allowed to construct high-rise tower. But if you are staying in a narrow street, you're only allowed to build 2-3 floors of building. So the height of the building is a function of the width of the road. That's basically what a corridor base. And because of that, we are seeing development of high-rise in the corridor area of Jakarta, such as Jalan Sudirman, Jalan Gatot Subroto, Jalan Rasuna Said, and you can name a few big streets. And we're converting into oriented. What does it mean? It means we will allow high-rise tower to be built surrounding a station. So if there is stations, then there is a designated area of perimeters 800 meters. In that perimeters, you're allowed to build high-rise tower. With that paradigm, then we're moving from private vehicle oriented into public transport oriented. So in a simple word, it's called car-oriented development and transit-oriented development. And because of that, we're seeing on the lower left, from low density to high density, from horizontal to vertical. So that's the shift, and it has to start from us. And then on the transport aspect, from this integrated transport into an integrated transportations. Priority for private vehicle, and then priority for public vehicles. And we shifted our priority. We reversed the priorities. In the past, the priorities was private vehicles. That's number one priority for any development. So you will see asphalt everywhere in the city, but you're not seeing sidewalk. You're not seeing bicycle lanes. Priority was for motorized vehicle. Now it's the other way around. The first priority is for pedestrian. The second is for bicycles and emission-free vehicles. And then the third priority is for public transport. And then the fourth is for motorized vehicle, combustion-based motorized vehicle. So with these transformations, it has to be translated into budget. If you have a statement of priority and you don't translate that into budget, it means nothing in the reality of the public. The public will only see the change if this priority is reflected in the budget. So we translate this into budget. And what happened when we translate into budget? In the past 4 years, let me show you some numbers. So number one was for pedestrian. Number two, bicycle lanes. Number three was for public transport. And number four for private vehicles. In the past 4 years, we have built 240 kilometers of sidewalks across Jakarta. The sidewalk that is famous is, of course, in Jalan Sudirman. The one that is famous, we're building in Jalan Sudirman, we're building across the city, and it's 240 kilometers. And then we built 96 kilometers of bicycle. And of course, when we're talking about public transport, let me show you some numbers. Look, the daily ridership. Oh, okay, there's a delay here, right? Okay, the daily ridership of Jakarta public transport. Look at the one on the bottom. I'll show you. Our daily ridership used to be around 350,000 in 2016, and then we reached 1 million by 2020. So only in 3 years, we tripled daily ridership. If we expanded our fleet, say from 1,000 to 3,000 buses, it says that we have allocated enough money to acquire more buses. But if you triple ridership, it means there is a shift in switching from privatized vehicle into public transport. And then we're seeing in the significant drop of traffic index. Jakarta, the graph in the middle, Jakarta was ranked the third most congested city in the world. You want to be on the top whenever there is a rank, but not on congestion. On traffic jam, you don't want to be on the top. And we were on the top. We were number 3. That was in 2017. Bisa di zoom seperti di sini. By 2018, we dropped to number 7. 2019, we dropped to rank number 10. And then, 2020, number 46. And by 2021, we dropped to number 46. So the drop was quite significant. Yes, there was pandemic, but pandemic is happening across the globe. It's not only us experiencing the pandemic. And look at the trend, from 3 to 7 to 10 to 31 and then to 46. It takes two to tango. It's not only the work of the government. The government provided the infrastructure, but if the public never responded, this never happened. It takes two to tango. It is a collaboration between us in government and the public in general. And that's what we are embarking on, a collective journey to become a global city. That's why I said we are at the beginning of that journey. It is not yet the end, because our target is much higher than this. We have reached 1 million daily ridership, but the target was to reach 4 million daily ridership. If we get 4 million daily ridership, then we're home free. Then we're good. But we're not there yet. However, we're able to triple. And look, the coverage of public transport that used to be around 40%, now it has doubled into 42%. So with the shift of paradigm from corridor-based development into transit-oriented development, and then translated that paradigm into programs, into budget that reflected on the executable action, then we are seeing that shift. We are continuing on that journey. And we do hope to partner with more people, more institutions, more private entity to embark on that journey. And it has also helped us in tackling climate change challenge. We are part of the world, and we need to be responsible city to help tackling climate change issues. In 2009, Jakarta committed itself to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 30% in the year 2030. So it was in 2009. We had 21 years of that journey. And in the past few years, we were able to accelerate that. So by 2021, we have reached 26% reduction of greenhouse gas emission here in our city. And that is a significant number because we still have 4% to go, but we have 8 more years to go. So we will definitely reach the target of 30% reductions much earlier than 2030. So it is part of that journey, and therefore the other next policy that we're adopting is electrifications of all public transport. We have around 100 electric buses. At the end of the year, we will have electric buses, but we expect to have all our buses, all our fleet to be electric by the year 2030. And with that, we can definitely send message to the world that Jakarta is part of the parties that contributing on the climate change handling across the globe. That is also why last month we host a Formula E event. It's not about the race itself. It is more about the electric vehicle race. The message about green economy, the message about sustainability, that's the key message that we would like to send to ourselves and to everyone outside our city. I'm grateful with the conference that is taking place today. Oh, by the way, with all of that, we got awarded. Last year, Jakarta won Sustainable Transport Award 2021. let me underline, this award is measuring the change from year to year. It is not about the level of services or the level of complexity that our public transport has achieved. So we have many other cities that have already have better public transport. But the difference is Jakarta is for making the largest change within the years that were being measured. So we are the one. And anyway, let me end this by sharing to you that embarking on this journey may be new to us, but may not be new to cities across the globe. We would like to learn. We would like to exchange our experience. We would like to adopt what has been successful and avoid what has been a failure. The do and the don'ts in these transformations from car-oriented into transit-oriented development. Because we, just on this issue, integrating our station into buildings across the, surrounding the stations. Some of our stations were not designed at the design stage to have an area built as an addition existing plan. So only, I think on this place, yeah, that you have leave some space within the stations, within the exit area, so that you can build connection. Otherwise, you have to do drilling, you have to build, basically reconstruct the stations. So we need to learn our lessons. So in the future, all the station development from its design already assume that we may have extension, we may have additional sidewalks underground. One last point that I missed earlier is this. With this underground tunnel, it is first time for us in Jakarta and Indonesia to actually make underground a space to be utilized for public. We have always lived above the ground, on the ground, but not under the ground. So under the ground, this is the beginning. So I do hope that in the future, we may be seeing underground city, perhaps under Bundaran HI. Who knows? And then we may be seeing underground area, perhaps surrounding Senayan area. You never know. But underground were area that is less developed. We did not touch it much. So this is the beginning. And again, as a beginning, it will serve as a benchmark. So I do hope from this inaugurations and from this conference, we will be able to embark on the journey becoming a global city much faster, much more efficient, and definitely we will our TOD extended not only in the main corridor of Jalan Sudirman, but across the city. So that one day we can come back to our history, because this will take a few decades to have all of this completed. And then we can say, yes, we were part of the big journey, and all of us were part of that. Thank you to everyone who has been involved in this project. Truly appreciate your work, and also all the participants of the Transit-Oriented Development Forum. And allow me to officially open the forum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. For the government of Jakarta, I hereby declare the TOD Forum 22 officially open.
Baik, terima kasih.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sekali lagi Bapak Gubernur DKI Jakarta, kita sekali lagi berikan meriah atas presentasinya untuk tetap berada di atas panggung untuk kemudian memulai atau menekan nantinya tombol peresmian. Sebelumnya kami undang dulu untuk mendampingi Bapak Gubernur, Pak Komisaris Utama PT MRT Jakarta, Bapak Muhammad Syaugi, kemudian Direktur Utama PT MRT Jakarta, dan juga Bapak William Sabandar. Silakan Bapak mendampingi Bapak Gubernur. Kemudian untuk Presiden Komisaris Tamrin 9 Complex, Presiden Direktur Tamrin 9 Complex, juga Global Market Director PT Bank UOB Indonesia. Menuju bangunan interkoneksi ditandai dengan penekanan tombol pada layar LI oleh Gubernur di Jakarta. Tombol yang dibalikan. Nah, itu dia. Tepuk tangan yang meriah. Kita sama tuh mundur. 3, 2, 1. Ini dia. Sekali lagi kita berikan tepuk tangan. Jadi a glimpse of the I think. Kita sama-sama sekali lagi. Baik, terima kasih Bapak Gubernur. Ada sesi berikut. Silakan Bapak Syugi, Bapak Gama untuk kembali ke tempat duduk terlebih dahulu. Sesi berikutnya saya akan izin Bapak silakan. Ya. Ya, kembali lagi kami mempersilakan Bapak untuk berfoto dengan Gubernur DKI Jakarta. Kita mulai 2 kali 3. Oke, cukup. Ya. Terima kasih Gubernur. Sudah acara kita di pagi hari ini, kita juga sudah tadi melihat 2 video yang tidak hanya memperlihatkan Probi, juga memperlihatkan a glimpse the future, bagaimana kemudian diharapkan nantinya TOD ini juga menjadi simbiosis mutualis dan semua, dan juga bagi warga DKI Jakarta secara khusus. Akhir kata saya Iriana Mardanus, semua yang bertugas hingga hari ini mengucapkan terima kasih banyak atas perhatiannya. Sampai dan salam sehat selalu. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.